Hawks Memorial Grand Final between these men. They are the Mangere East Hawks and the defending champions, the Hibiscus Coast Raiders, with the call this afternoon, Shane Cooper, Peter Ropati and Dale Husband.
And a warm welcome this afternoon. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks very much to Stephen and Peter for welcoming us. It is a big day of rugby league, and we look forward to another clash similar to what we enjoyed last season, Shane, where this match really went down to the wire, then to extra time. The Hibiscus Coast Raiders eventually successful and took the silverware back to the Whangaparaoa Peninsula. But they know they're in for a tough tussle this afternoon against your former club, Mangere East. How do you think it'll go today?
Yeah, well, obviously, Dale, welcome, and thanks very much. And exciting afternoon here in Mangere East. They're in their fourth Fox final compared to this Hibiscus Coast side. You can't keep them out of the playoffs, can you? They didn't quite make the Bartercard Cup, but they line up this afternoon in the Fox final. A little bit probably more experienced, I'd say, the Hibiscus Coast side. But this Mangere East side, they're pretty determined and they're going to give it 100%.
And Peter Ropati's with us this afternoon. Pleased to have him in the commentary team for this Fox final, mate. And, you know, this is the pinnacle of our local game of the Auckland Rugby League competition. You've been in this situation yourself before. They will be nervous, and it'll be a settling period in the early stages of the match.
Well, and I think the point you make, Dale, is with regards to the pinnacle of our competition. You know, for so many, this is the beginning. This is a springboard into bigger things, higher honours. After the end of the afternoon, they'll name the NZ18 to tour Europe. For a lot of these players, it's an opportunity maybe just to put their hand up for next year or maybe the year after. And certainly a lot of them are going to come in charged with the motivation of what they watched last night in the NRL, the Warriors' performance. They'll be excited.
Dave Pakito is in control of the match this afternoon, one of our senior referees in the New Zealand refereeing stakes. And a big high kick-off to get them started. Hibiscus Coast working away from the city and towards the Manukau Harbour end of Ericsson Stadium. You may pick up pictures of the eastern stand, which is under construction at the moment, and that will be felled over the next little while. And a new stand being built here to accommodate the expected bumper crowds for next season. And hopefully we'll be the defending premiers of NRL, but that's still a few weeks away yet. Congratulations to the Warriors for last night. Action, though, just short of halfway as the Hibiscus Coast Raiders first ball down. Keep an eye out too for Paul Davis. He scored 15 tries. He's the hooker for the Hibiscus Coast Raiders. Troy Thompson has nailed 19 himself, but this time around just eye off the ball and ball to ground.
Yeah, perhaps a poor pass there from Paul Davies, the man you just mentioned, Dale. A bad ball out of dummy half, gave the halfback Troy Thompson a little bit too much to do to pick that one up off his ankles. But we must mention there's a little drizzle coming down and a slight breeze favouring the Hibiscus Coast side in the first half. Strong tackle there. Referee Pacquiao not agreeing with it. He said it was high.
You're going to go high, you're going to stay low, guys. Not up there.
Nice acknowledgement from both players. I think he realised he'd made a blue as soon as he put that tackle on the Raiders' Robbie Gilmore. Also in pretty good form, Gilmore with 14 tries to his credit as well. The tackle on Tristan Waipodi.
It's always going to look a little bit worse when you get a player the height of Gilmore up against the smaller Waipuri there.
Walter Chan takes the tap. Strong run. Davis downstairs with assistance from Vinnie Dunn. Make the tackle about 15 from the line, but here's another penalty. Make the tackle and roll away. Pakito is expressing how he wants the game played. 2 quick penalties to the Hawks.
Court held. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, they're taking their time here to make their decision, and they've elected to kick for goal. Pete, early in the match, 2 points is very vital, if anything, just to settle the nerves down.
Yeah, and it's a good start for the Hawks. Defensively, they've got in there, they've put numbers. They're certainly in the face of the Hibiscus Coast. I wondered whether in this particular case, everything going their way, 2 penalties on the back of each other, you know, whether or not they would have just continued with that momentum and maybe just tested that D early on.
So, looking for the first points of the afternoon. The Mangere East Hawks in their 40th celebrations, as Stephen mentioned. It's been a big year for them. They've had some wonderful players through the club over the years, including the 2 men in the commentary team this afternoon. The kick is no good. Ross Stafford will be pleased about that.
Been some interesting clashes between these 2 football sides. You know, Shane, you've already mentioned they've fronted up something like 4 times. It's 2 apiece. The Hawks, the Rukatai Shield winners for 2003, unfortunately not being able to complete in the first outing between these two sides as they headed up on the 50-metre.
Well, there has been some strange encounters, Pete. In the last round of the competition, Mangere absolutely cleaned up Hibiscus Coast to the scoreline of 74-4. And then a couple of weeks later, they ended up against each other again in the semi-final. And that game was a draw after 90 minutes. It had to go to 100 minutes before Hibiscus Coast eventually ended up the winners.
Paul Luatua takes him to the 40 metres. This is in the Hibiscus Coast's end of the field as they work it wide quickly. Enthusiastic play, nice ball popped out the back door there. The tackle made by Troy Thompson on Jason Artemer, the skipper for the Hawks. They work the short side, floater over the top from Brian Atator. Back on the inside, he finds Makahili to ground. Makahili on the 20 metres. Short side run again from Walter Chan. Tries to grub a kick through, but that bounces up kindly for Adam Nathan. And the Raider gets at least out of the danger zone, but some good defence as well.
Good defence. Good defence. Roy Chan described this team as a defensive team, not afraid to get in there and mix it. On every occasion where the opportunity presents itself, you're getting 2 or 3 Hawks. They're keen, they're fired up, and they're going and looking for it.
13 on the run, Conrad King. He's wrapped up on the 20-metre line. Davis to dummy half. Shuffles it across. Picks up Vinnie Dunn, and Dunn gets some attention from the Hawks. They drive him back, 21 from his own line. Big number 8, Derek Ovema. On it comes to Thompson. He decides downtown's the best option. Taken well at the back by Tune Taula.
Well, that was great defensive work by Mangere as we see them trying to run it back to the halfway here. But there was 5 great dominant tackles by the Hawks. Really put pressure on Hibiscus Coast, and they struggled to get a kick away. Here we are on the first tackle on the 40-metre line.
That's with Paul Luatua wrapped up in the tackle there of Ruben and Nooka. Plays the ball, 7 short of halfway. Here comes the big man, charging run from Ray Tully. Well picked off too by Mike Heke. Chan. Tony Allo. Allo keeps it alive. The fullback gets a nice ball wide and still going Mangere East. Back on the inside, Makahili. Makahili for the line, and Makahili scores.
Well, what a great start it has been for Mangere East. And Makahili finishing off an excellent move down their left-hand flank. They've come once or twice down this left-hand side of theirs. As we see a replay of it, his great ball work here. The big forwards took it up first, and this was a money ball. Put the man in the gap, good spin and turn. Elected to keep the ball alive, and Francis Melly, he's got the size of a Francis Melly, hasn't he? And Makahili dots down for a great start.
Yeah, he may have the size of the Francis Melly, but they've certainly got the inspiration from Francis Melly. When you look at this football side, everyone turned up this afternoon with a spring in the step, and it is so evident in the opening 6 minutes on this Mangere side. They're keen to use the football, and the key to that one is their second phase play. The Warriors can do it, they can do it.
So Simone Makahili is your try scorer. He's picked up 14 tries already this season. That makes it 15. And Matt Ash chased him down to the line, but he was unable to stop him. And the 4 points goes the way of the Hawks. They draw first blood. 7 minutes gone. It's 4-0 with the kick to come.
Shane, a big part of this game, and the discussion started over the weekend with the Storm and the way that they go about trying to achieve the dominant tackle. It's a big part of this game, and it's going to become even a much more talked about topic, I think, as we go forward into subsequent years.
Yeah, it has, and I did mention it earlier on, and Mangere put in 5 superb tackles, and the pressure, great kick.
Nice conversion, Tristan Waipoti takes it to 6-0. Well, that's a feature of our game, I suppose, Pete. You know, we've got a lot of big guys. A lot of the PI brothers are very fast, but they're also quite solid and quite capable of playing second row or wing, as is the case with Francis. Well, I mean, he wouldn't... Tristan Waipoti's no small fella, and nor is the guy who scored the try, Makahili.
Well, it's the shape of the modern-day athlete in the game of rugby league. You can play on the wing, you can move into the centres, you can play back row, and that's exactly what we've got, even amongst so many of these Mangere boys down here and the Hibiscus Coast. Have a look at the numbers 2, number 5. They wouldn't be out of place with number 12 or 8 or 10 on their back.
Roy Chan looks on as his Hawks put in some good early yards. Out the back door with confidence, they play. Centre field, 25. Tackle is made by Dave Pito. Out of dummy half comes the fullback, Taula. Closed down on the 30-metre line. Waipoti to dummy half. That's good yardage.
Roll away, quick, quick.
7 short of the half. Walter Chan feeds.
Marcus, quick.
Willing workhorses at the moment.
Yeah, hold.
Yeah, there's some ominous signs early in this game. I think it's the appearance of waiting and allowing the Mangere offense to come towards them. If you want to slow them down, get in amongst them as they chase them down now to pin them inside their own 10.
And what a great chase there, Pete. We had a real good line of Mangere East players there, and that was including props and second rows. Chased so hard there to get them downfield. On the second tackle, they've got them under pressure already inside the 10-metre zone.
Yeah, and when you're running an offensive defense, as the Hawks are doing right now, the body language suggests that this football team's here to play today. They've turned up and they want to play football.
Possession stats favouring them immensely at the moment, but the Hibiscus Coast have had precious little pill, but spirited run there from Jeff Kim. He will play the ball 25 from his own line. The referee will penalise the Mangere East Hawks.
No, and I'll say right now, without seeing the replay, that was a bad decision. You'll find that the Hibiscus Coast player just tapped that forward with his own foot, and you cannot do that now in rugby league. You cannot play the ball forward. That penalty should have gone the other way.
Despite the years that are growing upon you, Shane Cooper, your eyes are sharp as a hawk. Look at you, he's shaking up there, Coops.
Hit up time for Dave Fafito. Good yardage for him as well. He goes to ground now, 37 from the line. Centre field as they work it right through Thompson. Thompson now pushes it along. No way through. As the wing three-quarter, Adam Nathan will play it back now to Jeff Kim. Kim works it through Thompson. Thompson on to King. King with the cutout boy. Floats over the top for Vinnie Dunn. Dunn is nailed by Tristan Waipodi and put to ground 28 metres from the line. 3 in from the eastern touch. Back towards centre field through Paul Davis. What a ball over the top, finds Jeff Kim. Kim looking for a way through up the centre of the track, finds a little hole, and eventually a last desperate tackle from Laker puts him to ground. Out it comes Thompson. Thompson, the grubber kick to the end goal. Will it hold up? Too heavy, and we'll restart on the 20.
Yeah, at least they played the 6 out there, Dale, and they put Mangere East under some pressure, and they're going to need to do that because they're an enthusiastic side at the moment, Mangere. They need to hang in here, Hibiscus Coast. There's been 11 minutes going. They're only 6 points down, so it's important. They are a big side, Mangere. They'll start blowing later on in this first half, I'm sure. It's important for Hibiscus just to hang in there at this stage and try and run that or let the time run the enthusiasm out of Mangere.
And as the Hawks try and bring it out of their 20-metre zone, I think the success for the Hibiscus Coast is going to be about just some simple play off the rucks, just peeling it, trying to turn the D around. But they need to get some speed into their ruck.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. Just a little dart from dummy half will probably catch Mangere out.
There's a bullet flat ball. It's been touched by the Hibiscus Coast Raiders and now knocked on, so we'll assume it'll be a scrum feed for the Hawks. And 5 metres short of halfway.
Because it has been a quick start, hasn't it, as we see who was that, Troy Thompson, just knocking the ball forward there. There's danger once again down the left-hand side of Mangere East.
Stay up.
We've heard how the Mangere East club have been responsible for a number of international players. Alston Filipona, perhaps the most recognised. Shane Cook was there, of course. The Ropati brothers have played there, but so have Jerry Siusiu and another name hot on the Warriors.
Ali Lauatiti.
Ali Lauatiti, of course. Out of dummy half with a good run. Andrew Wharton, formerly with Otahuhu. Plays the Mangere East Juniors. If he comes out of Tristan Waipodi, he gets it on now. Gets it to Manu Tafi. Tafi across to Makahili. Makahili towards the line. Gets the ball back on the inside. And it's still alive, is it? Eventually goes into touch and the end goal will restart out on the 20. What's the call from the referee? So that will go under the posts.
Well, we'll have to mention Mana Tuffy. He's been involved in most of the excitement down the left-hand side. The bald-headed prop forward, and that occasion again, he got a great offload and let them free down this left-hand side and nearly picked this one up to score for a big fella. He got down nice and low. He's just coming for a break now, but he's been inspirational for the side in the first 13 minutes.
Well, Makahili tapped it on. It was all through Hibiscus Coast hands after that as the Dropout is taken, 40 on the fly. Back it comes to Brian Atator, one of the more experienced players. In fact, he's been involved with the coaching staff at Mangere, Roy and Moira Chan, since 1989. Him and Jason Adama were juniors in the club. It's a lengthy relationship, and they certainly are the senior players as the Hawks eye the try line. They're only 8 metres away. Play the ball, and they decide to go the left side. No way through there. Line for the line, Chan. The Hawks, good defence from Adam Nathan. That's on Iwan there, Lule. Replacement on. Atator shows it back up on the inside, gives it on to Ray Tully. The Raiders are there though, in numbers. They close them down. That's the work ahead of them. Hawks through Adama, former Auckland Rugby League Player of the Year.
And that was a disappointing set there by the Hawks, but they may get some reprieve here from referee.
Quick tap taken, the dive for the line. He may well have got there. No, not this time. Took the decision upon himself.
Well, if it wasn't for the post, I'm sure he would have scored that, Dale. I'd like to see a replay of it. I think he thought himself that he got over the line. As we see a spool ball here.
And away goes Matt Ash. Has he got the legs? He hasn't. Great tackle. Beasley comes and cuts him down in full flight, Matt Ash. Big defence again for Paul Luatua. And we're taking the referee's thoughts here. Little knock on.
Well, it's time for a breather, isn't it? It's been an action-packed 15 minutes. She's been a nice open game, a lot of excitement. Similar to last year, I think Dale, one of the best games that we've seen in a Fox final between Hibiscus and Richmond it was, and what an exciting game that was. It went to extra time, and this is building up just as likely to go that way as we see a replay of Matt Ash here from the drop ball.
But it's also a signal of a game where you get opportunities and you don't quite nail them. The Hawks were down there, they were set, they had 6 tackles up their sleeve to be able to put their play together, and they came up with 0. Then they got some reprieve to referee Dave Paquito, and then they bombed that one again. But Hibiscus getting an opportunity to get midfield, and they turn it over. But both these football sides now getting into a bit of a jab session. One of them needs to take the ascendancy and go on with it.
How would you like to jab him, Pete?
I don't know, but what about the post? When you hit the post, I thought hitting the post there was considered a try.
I thought so too, Pete. 14 just about to come on as wild, Adama.
Well, on the line is over, isn't it? And I think that's the point you're trying to make, Pete. And they have got in-goal touch judges, so there's 2 of them looking at it. Unfortunately, we didn't get a replay of that, so we'll have to go with the referee and then the in-goal touch judge. And
we need 5 more refs.
Hold the weight.
As we see a replay of it here, Dale, sorry to interrupt you, and he's, like you say, he took it upon himself, and in fact he was just short, so the call was correct.
Mike Wilson has the ball for the Raiders. Works it back on the inside. Dunn gets attention from Wharton.
Hold here, come on.
35. 10 in from the Eastern touch. The Raiders through Conrad King. Now Troy Thompson. Thompson gets on to Mike Heke. Heke. Well sorted. Centre field. Short side. Raiders on the charge through Matt Young. Picked up in the tackle of Lule.
Starting to enjoy a bit more possession now, the Raiders.
Thompson wide to Conrad King. Works it on to Matt Ash on the step. Ash worked over by Luatua. 15 from the line. The Raiders coming back through Conrad King. The grubber to the in goal sits up nicely. Too heavy. Great chase for his own kick. It just goes dead.
And that was a good set of 6 there by the Raiders to be able to finish out, put a bit of pressure. Perhaps not the ideal end result coming up with the return set, but perhaps just knowing that they're starting to grow in confidence as they enjoy a little bit more possession.
He's a good player, this Conrad King. He's played a few Bartercard Cup games for the Hibiscus Coast. So we must just emphasise too the fact that you have had to play 4 of the last 7 games to qualify in the Fox Memorial final. So you've had to play more than 50% of the last 7 matches to be able to play in this final.
And just to put it in perspective as well, when you look at the Hibiscus Coast side, so many of their players have been responsible for feeding their Bartercard side. So it's been a disruptive season for them, and to still be featuring as part of this Fox Memorial final, they've done a wonderful job.
Yeah, well, a few mistakes are starting to creep into the Mangere side here. 6-0 up. They can't get overconfident, and we see a ball that went to at least a metre forward.
That'll be a reasonably conservative estimate too, I suspect, Shane.
Now, don't you be calling in question the Hawkeye.
Bluey McLennan there, staunch supporter of the rugby league scene. Only 20 years old, the Hibiscus Coast Club, and haven't they enjoyed some success and put out the challenge to some of these more experienced clubs?
No, Dale, stop there. But last time I remember doing a commentary with you guys, you started talking about how young this Hibiscus Coast Football Club, and the man there beside you, namely Shane Cooper, he just ripped into us. They're old, he said.
No, in fact, you got it wrong, Dale. It was me that was, Pete, it was me that was saying they're young. It was Dean Lonergan that blew us up.
It said 20 years, a long time. Great defence from Mangere East. They drive Ruben and Noka towards and eventually over the sideline, and we'll get to feed the scrum on the halfway line.
Well, the end result of all that just shows that we've all aged and we're losing our memories because we can't remember.
Like to say g'day to the sports people from Dargaville up there in the Northern Waidoa, watching in today. Enjoyed some boxing at the Dargaville Town Hall last night as we see a nice ball coming the way of Andrew Wharton. Wharton onto Luata. Luatua for the line. Did he get it down? Flag goes up. Try goes down. Pushed out. We get a chance to have another look. Great run by Wharton, though, down that eastern touchline.
Touch and goal. Wait. No, try to go.
Touch and goal, great dummy. Matt Ash showed it again, confident, and eventually got the ball out to Luatua for the line.
And a wonderful story about this wingman Luatua. Turned up one afternoon, not quite sure what the game was. It was being played in his local park. Asked if he could have a run, and since then it's history. He's just gradually progressed in a very short period of time up through the ranks of the Mangere East Football Club to find himself now in the top flight.
Yeah, in fact, Pete, he's only had 6 games for Mangere and scored 11 tries already this season, so that's amazing for a first-time convert to our game of rugby league.
Enoka down the short side, out of dummy half, gets the ball on, it's got it now. Luatua's got it. Have they got the wheels to nail him in the angle? Luatua back on the inside. Wonderful run, comes to an end, 18 from the line. Quick play the ball, absolutely necessary. A little slow to move. This time the roll-on comes to a Filasai. He is wrapped up in the tackle of Matt Young. And a penalty. Quick tap, Mangere is confident. To the line they go.
Bring it to the left.
Numbers to the left. Tui Fisalai, and this time another penalty, then kicks the ball away.
Has to be a sin bin, Dale, surely.
I mean, it's a grand final. He'll have a word to this man. It's bad enough. And there you go. Well, you said it, Shane. Fair call. But he is their linchpin, Troy Thompson. They will miss him. 6-0 the scoreline, 19 minutes left in the first half of the Fox final for 2003 live from Ericsson. Mangere East with another opportunity, down to 12 men. Tristan Waipodi takes the tap, in fact he dummies the tap first up, moves it across to the right, finds the fullback Taula. Wrapped up by Dunn and Avella. Slow to his feet, numbers, Wharton. Up quickly in the tackle too, Jeff Kim.
He needed to be 2, Dale, because there was 3 men on the outside of him. Great tackle by Kim.
Wharton once again goes himself, throws the dummy. Looking to offload to Tony Alor. Doesn't this time. Down to the left-hand side of the post. Here's the grubber. In fact, it was almost a bomb.
Yeah, it was a big bomb. But disappointing again for the Hawks. They get up down the other end of the football field. And all that's required is perhaps a little bit more composure, find a set play to come up with and unleash it upon the Raiders, who get another opportunity to get out of there. But they will miss number 7, Thompson. So much of their kicking game comes on the back of that player.
So the Raiders will be forced to work hard now as Enoka moves it on to Dunn. Dunn can't find his way through. Manu Tafi makes another tackle. They play the ball on the 30. Here it comes for Ash. Matt Ash shows it. Back up on the inside. Good ball back. Comes on to Avanga. Derek will play the ball just short of halfway. Enoka. Looking to offload. It's Dave Pito. Enoka again out of dummy half. Finds 8-10 easy metres up the middle. The tackle eventually made by Moala.
Noticeable the speed out of the acting half by the Raiders now too.
Ash, that's been touched in flight. It'll bounce back, has to be played out of there now from Luatua. Pushes the ball dead. Troy Thompson looking on.
Well, if you ever wondered why Coach Daniel Anderson sometimes gets flutters of the heart, this is where it all starts.
What are you saying, Pete? You don't think he should have chucked this ball?
Oh, no, go for it.
Well, it's part of the style, I suppose. If it had come off, would have hailed him as a hero. That kick is short, horrible. Matt Ash gets hold of it straight away, 12 metres out, but he runs into the brick wall in jersey 10 called Manu Tafi. On the boil, Avenga. 7 away from the line. Enoka has a look himself. The Hawks close them down. The Raiders on the hunt for their first try of the afternoon. 6-0 it is. Tight football. On it comes for Jeff Ken, no way through. The tackle, Lemoni Moala. Dummy half, Avenga has a look, then goes low and goes strong and picks it up. First try for the Hibiscus Coast Raiders, 6-4.
Well, Dale, I was just about to say how they've really had to work for every inch of their way. And in the end, it was a soft try. They were all the same amount of points, aren't they? 4 for tries. But they made them really work hard for some of these yardage. And the big fella just decided to pick it up from dummy half and Burridge his way over.
And you could question, you could throw in a little bit here, whether or not he uses the man playing the ball as a bit of a shelter there.
No, I don't think so, Pete. He can't disappear.
But give it to him. This is a thoroughly enjoyable game, you know, when you talk about the tightness, the fact that it's just entertainment plus, when you got a willingness by both sides to shift that ball around, at times a little reckless, but they're certainly showing that there is some confidence in both of them to give this ball some air. Entertaining football.
Well, the big fellas really put it on in the last 5 or 6 minutes. From down the other end of the field, he had a couple of surging runs, did Derek Avanga, and he's into to score in what looks to be his first try of the year, Shane.
Yeah, in 16 appearances, and his first time he's dotted down, so that's great work in a final to eventually get your first points, and he was pretty excited, big grin on the old face there, wasn't it?
It's always good to come up with your 4-pointer in a Fox final. But disappointing for Coach Roy Chan for the Hawks there, you know. The Hawks have been up the other side on a couple of occasions, coming away with nothing. And the Raiders successful with the conversion.
Mike Wilson gets the extras. It's 6-all. This is finals football as we've come to expect.
Yeah, 1 or 2 opportunities not really been taken by Mangere, Pete. I go along with that, but I don't think he'll be too disappointed. The enthusiasm's there in it, and there's plenty of numbers in the tackle which I'm enjoying. They seem to have slowed the Hibiscus side down to their pace of the game, and you know, I wouldn't be too disappointed at 6 each.
But I guess as a coach, you'd be feeling a little bit better if you can put some distance between your opposition and take your opportunities. The Hibiscus Coast, they're growing. They're certainly starting to find their groove. A little slow, a little dusty getting out the blocks in the opening stands of this game, but they're certainly starting to warm to their task. The speed out of the acting half out around that ruck area. The Hawks starting to fall off tackles as again the Raiders take it to them on the 40.
Ruben Enoka gets some attention. The crowd don't like it. Back we come. The Raiders on the roll with Craig Heslop. Another strong run. Derek Avanga once again gets the offload back, and it comes up in the hands of Ray Tooley. Could have been so dangerous.
What's important now is that for the respective sides, particularly Mangere now, because there's a sense that they're starting to sort of be called to order, is to find some composure in their game and not allow this game to get into a bit of a constant just bash-a-thon.
So Brian at the claw, one of the most experienced players from the ground. He will play the ball 35 from the line, 10 to the left-hand side of the post. Fed in by Makahili. Back up the middle for Wharton. He's played strong. Tully once again willing to soak up a lot of the workload. He will play the ball. 30 out from the try line. Out it comes to Waipoti. The chip and regather. Ash punches it back. Dangerous. Then it's eventually wrapped up by Matt Young. I don't know what Matt Ash was thinking about.
Volleyball.
Well, sometimes the unexpected works. Skating on thin ice, though, as Blair Parker is wrapped up and will play the ball for the Raiders. Remember, there's still one man down, Troy Thompson in the bin. The offload as a Mangere's hand in there, well claimed. We get another look at Matt Ash's volleyball effort.
Yes, Henry Farfelli would be proud of that. It was a great effort there by Henry to keep the ball in the field of play last night. It's infectious.
Well, let's think about it. They watched that last night. All these lads would have watched that footy. I thought, well, if it can work that way.
Yeah, I'm not getting in there. Down you go.
One thing I have to mention here, boys, is there's been some real ineffective kicking, some individual kicking that really hasn't come off for either side. And it's one thing I'm sure both coaches will point to at halftime. You can't win this game individually. You have to go collectively and as a team. And someone else, when you're going to put a kick in, someone else on your side has to know it's on.
But the best examples of that have been in their short kicking department. Both football sides getting down into the red zone there and both coming up with kicks that have just been a little too heavy and certainly not ending with the right result. As again, Hibiscus looks to offload.
Well, Dave Fa'apito, that was a late flop, it would seem, but nothing done about it. 13, Jason Adama on Mike Hickey. Willing to offload the ball, but as you mentioned before, it can be a risky business.
Well, this is the point I was making with regards to finding some composure. The game's now at risk of losing its shape. You know, getting into that critical 10 minutes out from the first half. It's a great opportunity now for football side to put the pedal down and maybe just gain some ascendancy coming into the break.
Jody Arlour taken by his opposite, and Jeff Kim. Right on the 40-metre line now as Mangere threw out the tour. Looks to the right, finds Tully. Tully downstairs, Heslop. Tully gets away. Good run from the big man. 22 out from the line. There is a penalty. 2 points would seem, in the context of the game, a worthy result at this stage. We're 11 minutes out from halftime.
Yeah, I'll go with you there, Dale. I agree 100%. 6 points each. They took the first penalty at goal when there was no points scored, so why should they not take this at 6 each?
Of course, looking back through the season, a couple of the results here were only, a one-pointer up north through a field goal late in the game for Mangere East to take a 21-20 win. And prior to that, there was a 20-22 result. So these 2 points can be very, very important as Ray Tully.
And that was a good charge here by Tully, and certainly if they'd gone on with it and not received a penalty, he could very well have created the platform that could have seen him gone into a 4-point, the much-needed try just before the break.
Yeah, but then you go on to how much advantage you play, Pete, and we don't want to get like that other game where you pull them back 5 minutes later.
Yeah, no, I agree. The penalty was worth coming.
Justin Waipoti looks to add the extras, and he is successful. It's an 8-6 scoreline. The Hawks lead the Raiders with 10 minutes to go till half-time here in the Fox final of 2003.
And Hibiscus Coast won't be too disappointed, only conceding the 2 points in the absence of the number 7, Troy Thompson, about to return to the football field. He does that exactly now. So 2 points conceded with 12, not a bad effort.
And also 6 points gained with 12 too, Pete. Last night's game, well, I think the Warriors scored 2 tries, didn't they?
It's interesting what it does to a footy side when you're down to 12. You know, everybody seems to take on added responsibility. The intensity, the commitment, it just grows.
Well, that was no more so evident than last night, and I thought that really counted in the Warriors' favour when they had not Brett Webb sent off for the 10 minutes, and didn't the other boys really lift themselves?
That's the amazing thing about football is Tully continues to impress. Enoka makes the tackle on him on the 30 metres, Hawks end of the ground. They work it through Waipoti. Gets it on now to Tony Laker.
And it's often what defines finals football, or the result or the final outcome of a finals match, is other players, and not the normal expected dominant players to come to the fore. And as we saw last night with the likes of Francis Melly's been in outstanding form, sort of stepped up. Sione Famuina.
That bounce was a nightmare bounce for the Raiders, and a kind one for Mangere East. They are on the boil. Down the short side they come, back on the inside they come. The ball is still alive. Walton, and eventually puts the ground, comes up with the Raiders. Big high tackle. Blair Parkin gets slammed to the deck. Parkin plays it. Raiders leading the work.
Well, coming into this match, we knew that the Raiders football side were one that are going to enjoy an arm wrestle, and you've got to recognise their defensive effort. They're scrambling well, and they're getting up in the face of the Hawks when they've got the ball in an offensive.
Well, a little respite from the action. It's been a fine first half. As Troy Thompson back on the field, kicks towards the western touchline.
That's why the first one wasn't a penalty. Second one was. Wait.
It's a big differential, 6-2. And when you look at the scoreboard, not much separates them, so they've enjoyed a hell of a lot more possession on the back of some penalties.
Paul Davis back into the action as he works it across to Conrad King. King gets it on, driven back, pretty done. Oh, the Hawks, they mean business.
And doesn't that sort of defensiveness, they give away a penalty, all the good work undone, but doesn't that sort of defensive effort just raise the bar for the footy team?
Jason Artemer, ton of experience. Ross Stafford, the Hibiscus coach. Here we see once again, well, there's nothing that the Raider man can do about it, and they just drive him back. Went on with it a touch too long. Here we see the Raiders again. That was a tackle as well. Ball goes loose. Spilled. Craig Heslop looks up. Damage done. Scrum down. Hawks feed.
There hasn't Tristan Waipuru done some great defensive work.
And that man on screen as well, Junior Lesser, coming in with a big tackle to force the knock on.
We get another look. Have a go. Bang. To win football games is a beautiful ball is dropped right on the hands of Tony Tuala, and the fullback goes smoking home. What a ball, what a run.
Don't know about you, Coops, but when I saw this footy side warming up and I looked at the number one, he reminded me of a former Hawks fullback, JR. The pants pulled up high, but he certainly got the pace to burn.
And wasn't it a great ball from Brian Ayatoa to set him alight, and he showed some speed, didn't he? And like you say, a little bit reminiscent of your brother Pete, John, how he came into the back line there, great angle run, and from 20 metres out he knew he was going to score this.
And it's such a wonderful sight when you see a player run the gap and you get a wonderful ball just served up, that all you've got to do is complement the excellence of the delivery, and that's about running the right angle, running the line into the gap, and then backing yourself and using the pace to bring it home. Wonderful rugby league.
Tony Taula, already 17 tries this season. He adds another to the tally in what was a scorcher from his own 20-metre line. Running straight, we've heard it plenty of times from a lot of coaches, and that's how that try came about. Ran straight with purpose. What do you think about that?
Oh,
I don't look anything like the Mad Butcher, does he?
Well, no, I was going to carry on and break out an imitation of the Butcher, but I'll leave that to Coops. He's the man.
No, I can't do that one, Pete, but on the back of that try was that defensive effort, won it right from the penalty kick. We had that great defensive work by the Mangere players, and enabled to put the scrum down, and a great try resulting.
And it's often the case, isn't it, that it's the little plays that sometimes determine the final outcome. That one with about 5 minutes to go on the clock until the halftime, a much needed score just to separate the sides coming in for the break. But the force over, the knock on, the tackle there, Junior Lesser involved along with Waipuru and young Wharton on the back of what they conceded was a penalty. So good play there as again we see an indiscretion in the acting half.
50 feet, says Dave Pakito. And Brian Ayatoa, he's the man who dropped that beautiful ball onto Tony Taula. His experience, a telling factor at the moment.
Yeah, we'll just see a replay of it here, Dale, and that's two mistakes Mola has made. He put a grubber kick in early on that went dead, and that time just trying to milk a penalty, I felt, and he's put his side under a bit of pressure.
So tries in the first half to Derek Ovanga. Makahili, the left wing for the Hawks, and wonderful effort, as you've just witnessed. Ash turns it back up on the inside and finds one to Adama. This is him still going. Adama. Well, can the Raiders come back before the halftime hooter? That's the question. They've got 3 minutes and 40 seconds to do so. Troy Thompson gets a nice ball on to Robbie Gilmore, and the fullback has closed down 3 metres short. Into dummy half. Davis flat. Thompson. On it comes to Adama. Adama is taken down, and a good tackle by Tony Laker. Enoka to dummy half. Out it comes for Thompson. Thompson out the back door. Turnover. Who comes up with the pill? Mangere East. Tony Taula. Paul Luatua.
And that was a costly exercise there for the Hawks. They're losing Makahili, their wingman. He's just left the field holding his left arm. An attempted tackle there on one of the Raider players, but a great opportunity. They've been able to withstand some pressure. And if they can just get up the other end of the field and play out their sets of 6, they may protect that 8-point scoreline that they've got at the moment.
Walton gets on him, the big man. Done a lot of work in this first half, Ray Tooley. Play it back to Walton now. Downtown it comes, off the boot of Tristan Waipodi. Bounce, well controlled in the end by Robbie Gilmore. Turns, faces up, trying to link up now. Heads across to find his wing 3/4. Gets hold of Mike Wilson. Wilson back on the inside. Little goose step as well. Eventually to ground.
Get up, 7-8.
Turning it up on the inside. Another charging run, this time Adam Nathan.
Don't push it,
Nathan for Davis. On the boil, Havana.
Play it.
Wharton's been working hard in both attack and defence as Troy Thompson holds it up momentarily with Jeff Kim. Kim with it. Closed down on the tackle of Arlaw with assistance by Wharton. They'll play the ball now, 28 from the line. Thompson.
Get up quicker for you, going to cost you 10.
Conrad King. Now to Matt Ash. Ash. Picked up, tossed off, fends him off and runs again. Surely not. The referee might call it okay. Does he let that go? The try to Thompson. He will let it go. Forget about the penalty.
Number 3.
Penalty try, maybe.
No, I can't see it being a penalty try. I think he just wants to talk to someone here, Dale.
Come here.
Well, that was a rather unusual set of circumstances, Pete. I can't say that I've seen anything like that before.
Well, I thought David Paquito, the referee, there may have been suckered. He looked as though he went toward the penalty.
Damn like you, like it was. Lazy tackle, careless, reckless. Keep him down.
And he agreed with everything the referee said.
But as we watch here, as Waipuri goes up, it is reckless. And it's at that point there where the number 6 stands up there, Matt Ash. And it's at that point Dave Paquito actually raised his arm. He was going to award a penalty and then dropped it down.
Well, I don't mind the decision so much. Here's Matt Ash. I mean, he was really hammering down. Unusual. Shoves off and away again.
Well, one thing you're taught as kids, you have to play the whistle, and unless Dave Paquito blew his whistle, I agree with the try being given here.
And the conversion successful. Matt Ash is awarded the try. The Hibiscus Coast Raiders bounce back just as they needed to. 40 seconds to half-time. What a half it's been, Peter. It's had everything that we expect. It's had the intensity. It had some really fine play early on. It might have lost its shape, as you mentioned, a little later in the half. But 14-12, I think we're in for a ripper of a second half as well.
Take nothing away from it. Thoroughly enjoyable. It's been entertainment plus. Both football sides certainly throwing in whatever they've got to make this game a spectacle, and it's worthy of any Fox Memorial final.
Now, this is the home of rugby league now in Auckland. Of course, with the new stand under construction across the summer, really will be a privilege to play here. A lot of the guys will prefer it much more than the grand old lady. There is half-time. What a half of football it has. A late try brings the Raiders back into contention. 14-12 is the scoreline. At the moment, it is the Hawks who lead the Raiders in the Fox Memorial Championship for 2003. We'll come back and review that first 40 right after this.
Sport.
Mangere East lead at half-time in the Fox Memorial Grand Final, and try number 1 to the Mangere East Hawks. And Pete, this was just festival football almost.
Well, it's been entertainment plus. You know, both football sides competing to make this a spectacle, and Makahili, you know, just showing the presence, not too dissimilar to what you'd got out of Francis Malley last night. And that's where so much inspiration is being taken from for these guys here this afternoon.
Mangere East just peppered the Hibiscus Coast Raiders line for at least 3 or 4 minutes. They almost got a try down the right-hand side here to Paul Luatua, and he's got gas, but he just put his foot out.
Plenty of speed, but perhaps a little disappointing for Coach Roy Chan at the break there, that maybe 2 or 3 opportunities there by the Hawks have been squandered. They put numbers into D. They've certainly notched up, but very, very disappointing there to allow Mangere to get in so close. It's, as Shane Cooper alluded to, 4 points. It's a good try. But this was
so
just,
far.
this was absolutely stunning stuff there by
Brian Atatoa gave the ball to Tony Tuola, and boy, he was away.
Well, he showed good pace, but just a combination of both of them. The pass served up, it was just brilliant. It was a nice flat ball, and then just running the right angles.
Matt Ash will pick the ball up here, and he'll get coat-hanged, basically.
Well, a little controversy around this one. We're just discussing it off there briefly. The coach, referee Dave Paquito, he raised his arm to indicate he was going to award a penalty, and then dropped his arm down. But hey, play the whistle, try time.
And good play of advantage too in many ways, because it has certainly been worthy of seeing plenty of points scored. 14-12, the Mangere East Hawks lead the Hibiscus Coast, who remember are the defending premiers. It's been good football.
Oh, it's been good footy. And when you look at perhaps the stats that signal so much of that first 40, it's about the completion rate and the possession. So much of that's starting to alter itself from the back end of that first half. A lot of the possession on the back of some good penalties favouring the Mangere East Hawks certainly gave them the front seat, the driving seat.
Pete, the one thing that's been quite noticeable about Mangere East is getting themselves back into the game.
Well, once they get that go for it offensively, I think they're very strong. They get good speed off the ground, but it's their numbers in D. They put numbers in, they committed.
Strong.
They certainly slow down the go forward of Hibiscus Coast, but they're certainly starting to get in there and have a crack now. They're a footy side that many talked about prior coming into this game as a football side that's not afraid of the arm wrestle. They're prepared to go 80 plus. They've already shown early on this season in the preliminary final, something like 100 minutes of footy was played between both of these sides.
I think the one thing they've got to be mindful of, though, with that late try there to Troy Thompson, though Matt Ash was supposedly credited with it, so they can't let their guard down, because Hibiscus Coast are no slouches.
Well, exactly that. You know, these are guys that enjoy and relish the fact that they're going to get in and have a ground war, and if you have to go 100, if you have to go 120, they'll play it out.
It's been a good crowd here at Ericsson Stadium as well. You can't see that there are too many of them on the telly, because our cameras point towards the Eastern Grandstand, which is being taken down for its new big grandstand that'll have corporate boxes and the whole 9 yards. It'll be pretty special indeed. But it is a very, very vocal afternoon of football, and the little ones just love it. And why not? Because the mums and dads love it, and get out here and enjoy it. It's all right, son. It's only television. He's only Peter Roper. It's not that bad. Oh, my goodness, it's not that bad.
I must point out to people at home, though, that what this little boy is actually seeing is a picture of Stephen on screen there. It's not about me. But what you do get when you watch Fox Memorial Final, when you got the barter card, is that the fact that it brings out grassroots footy. And that's what you get. I get a whole lot of families out there enjoying the afternoon. It's good football.
And it is enjoyable, and in fact it's quite warm as well, and we've still got the Bartercard Cup Grand Final to come, and don't forget at 5 on Sky Sport 1, Penrith versus Brisbane in the 4th and final qualifying final in week 1 of the finals in the NRL. Super Sunday continues from Ericsson in just a moment. The Hawks are leading the Raiders.
Enjoyable because they're built better to last longer.
Well, we are, aren't we? We've had everything. It's been great tries, great excitement, great defence, and like you say, if the second half's anything like the first half, we're in for another cracker. 40 minutes as Troy Thompson gets his second half underway.
Well, Mangere East have yet to win a Fox Memorial Championship. What a boost it would be to the club that already holds the Rukutai Shield if they were able to take it out. They've got 40 minutes to prove themselves, and they're 2 points up on the scoreboard. Into the action once again. Manu Tafi had a bulldozing first half. The tackle made by Paul Davis. He'll play the ball now, Tenen from the eastern touch, as they work back through the hands of Atator, and up the middle they come on to Jason Adama.
And Dale, I just mentioned the busy guys in the first half. Arama for Mangere East with 15 tackles and 7 hit-ups was closely followed by Tulu with 9 tackles and 13 hit-ups. And on the other side of the coin, Dunn with 11 tackles and 10 hit-ups was probably the busiest for the Hibiscus Coast.
Coast with the ball, and Mike Wilson. Wilson taken, and again spirited defence from the Hawks. Little play there from Robbie Gilmore. He's had a little opportunity in that first half. He wasn't impressed, Dave Pakiito, with the effort that the Mangere East Hawks made to get back.
And that's disappointing because they certainly set their store early in the second half. They come out, they've gone through a couple of good charges and then came up with a reasonable kick to try and clear. But to undo all that work by conceding a penalty, that now puts the Raiders in a good offensive position on the 30-metre. Avenga hits it up.
He was the try scorer late in the match, and then eventually I think it was also Matt Ash who dotted down, but Avenga was one of the try scorers for the Raiders in that first half. Attention on Mike Heke. Will play the ball now, 28 from his line. Working back on the inside for Dave Fa'apito. The big man, shielded, challenged, and eventually dispatched by Adama with assistance from Laker. Davis works it onto Inuka, shows it on the inside to Ash, holds on to it, Inuka sends a tough ball to his teammate out wide. Mike Wilson couldn't control, back on the inside, and Gilmore spills the pill. And a restart with the Hawks feed.
Yeah, Inuka running sideways there, just left his winger too much to do. Crabbing across field a little bit too much. He needed someone on the inside or just to straighten him up himself. And as we see, just go inside, just a real possible pass for the winger to take there.
It just ended up being a desperation pass with nothing really on the back of it. No real understanding of what to do to finish the pass. But as you say, Shane, he could very well have helped them out by perhaps putting himself in a position to take an inside pass as they shifted to the right.
Thompson with the football. Spent a 10-minute spell in the bin in the first half. And, had a try conceded against his squad as Robbie Gilmore takes it from dummy half. Picks up Dave Fa'apito. The big man's willing to pop the ball, wisely decides to go to ground this time. 5 from the line, big chance for the Raiders. Davis works it on. On a Vinny Dunn on the inside to Avenga. The big man will get there. Puts out the big Mitch, slams down the lever and takes 4 points home to the Hibiscus Coast.
Hey, back away. Go away. Hey.
Well, in fact, I thought they'd stopped him here, Dale, and they put on a good tackle on him, but the big fella Avenga, he hadn't scored all season. He scored 2 in the final. He spun away from that tackle. As we see a little replay of it here, the ball just gets popped up on the inside, and he had a little bit of work to do. I thought it was a pretty secure tackle, that one, but great spin and turn in the tackle, kept on going with his momentum.
And it's something you're seeing a lot more of, the evasive skills of being able to hit and spin in a tackle to keep yourself alive, and Avenga does exactly that. If there's one downside sometimes when you put numbers in on a tackle, is when you commit 3 or 4, you've got to be able to scramble and get back and set your defensive line. And I think when you put numbers in, when you're only a metre or 2 off, you allow yourself maybe to be exposed a little on that occasion. It was exactly that, with some good evasive skills there by Avenga.
Wilson won't come much easier than that. He adds the extras as expected, and the Hibiscus Coast Raiders take the lead in this match for the very first time. 18-14 over the Hawks.
Well, they've really hung in there, haven't they? Mangere, we've seen in that first half, probably dominated most Turaturu position and didn't really come up with 1 or 2 tries that they could have. And pretty determined side, this Hibiscus Coast. Pretty experienced. They've been here in the final before, so they'll be more than pleased now with 5 minutes gone in the second half to be 18-14 up.
And that's what defines the game of rugby league sometimes, is when you look back in hindsight, you look at some of the stats. Possession-wise, favoured the Hawks. Penalties favoured the Hawks. Yet they were only sort of slightly ahead on the mark when it came in the halftime split. And it's about opportunities. And right now you've got a football side that we've already talked quite a bit about in the opening 50 minutes. Is one that will hang in there and play out the arm wrestle in the Hibiscus Coast Raiders. Opportunities when they come, you've got to take them. Avenga hits it up again on the 40-metre.
He's a busy man, is Derek Avenga this afternoon, and we were singing the praises of Tone Taula with that scorching try scored from his own 20-metre line for the Hawks. But then it's been bounce back time for the Raiders, and they had a try to Matt Ash, and then that straight after the break, another try to Derek Avenga. 2 for the day. The Hawks with work to do. Jeff Kim does a one-on-one strip. Maybe there were more in it than one. Jeff disputes Dave Pakiito, the referee's call. Not surprisingly. We get a chance to have another look at that in a moment. Just check and see how many players were there. There's Thompson downstairs. Well, there's 2 there. A good touch finder on the halfway. 7-4 penalty count favouring the Hawks. Up the middle again goes Manu Tafi. The big man breaks through.
Good charge, Tafi.
Cut down 32 from the line. The Hawks on the boil up to Tor. Up the middle comes Ray Tully. Tully gets the offload as well. Better defensive effort early on from the Hibiscus Coast Raiders as up to Tor works it across to Ray Pody. Shows it on the inside, delivers up in the end, finds Tuifesalai. Tony Allo with the ball. Racked up by Conrad King. Here they come, the Hawks. Oh, the ball was there. The thinking was right. Paul Luatua had a chance, a difficult one, accepted.
Yeah, just a case, I think, Dale, of just trying to push that ball a little bit too early in this match. Okay, the ball was there, but he didn't have much room really to work in, did he? And he was always going to the sideline with cover there. He may have been better there just to quickly go down to the ground, get up and play the ball again and give the opportunity to someone on the outside of him.
But a good set there by the Hawks, led by that starting charge by their prop forward Manu Tafi to get him up there. And they certainly picked up on the back of it and got that roll going. Hibiscus Coast now looking to get out.
That's Robbie Gilmore grabbing sideways in the end. Tackle made by Tony Arlaw. Big man Adam Nathan playing right wing for the Raiders. Enuka to dummy half. Kim. And Jeff Kim driven. He wants to get up, play it quickly. To his credit, Davis. Thompson. Running. Ash. Can't control. So now the Hawks. Wing three-quarter. Luatua. Ash upstairs. Thompson downstairs. 25 from the line. Walter Chan. Waipodi works it across and on to Wharton. Wharton spins but can't deliver. We'll play the ball now. Waipodi. No one home. Eventually picked up by Tuifesalai. In the inside. Luatua. 5 from the line, the Hawks on the boil. Referee will penalise as Tony Laker looked to offload. And there's 2 points on offer. 18-14 the scoreline. This is finals football.
No, I think it's a case of taking a tap here, Dale. But they've just gone against my wish and electing to kick for goal. But isn't Paul Luatua an exciting player? Every time he gets the ball, he's got strength too, going through tackles. He's got speed, evasion. He's an exciting prospect for the future, and this is what the Fox Final and the Buttercard Cup are producing week in, week out. A lot of exciting players, and there he is, a man on screen.
And the most exciting part about that is when they do get those opportunities, we're seeing so many of them now coming through the ranks of the professional game in the NRL, and they're not looking out of place. Yeah, and when I look at the likes of young Jerome Ropati, who not quite sure whether or not he's going to match up for Maris Richmond this afternoon. Yeah, when that youngster had his chance, and it's still... I find myself dumbfounded when I do reflect back on that match. When he took the field against Penrith, he did not miss a beat.
Well, he just wasn't overawed, was he, Pete? He just took everything in his stride, and he had a really exciting game. I think it was the Roosters he played in.
One that Tristan would rather forget, I would suspect.
Well, he hasn't really kicked well all game, Dale, has he? He hasn't really struck them well, and it really surprised me from that angle. Excuse me, from that angle. They have a shot at goal there.
The restart off the boot now of Mike Wilson. Sends it plenty deep. Taking it the back. Turn face. This is the fullback. Elusive is the term used to describe Tuna Taula. And they'll play the ball now. 5 metres inside the Raiders half. Bit impressed with the big man's efforts for Mangere East today, Pete.
Well, I think on both sides, you know, not only for Mangere, but also for Hibiscus Coast. You know, all the big boys are mobile. They've certainly got a lot of speed about them, and there's a strong work ethic. Willing to get in there and work as again. We see them go out of the acting half, taking it to the Raiders on the 15.
Good run from Jason Ardema to get him in defined field position. It comes back for Manu Tafi. He will stand and deliver, I suspect. Gets it out the back door. Ardema, Waipodi, cut out ball. Laker, back on the inside. Tuifesalai. He will play the ball 5 metres short of the try line, trying to play the ball too quickly. Another penalty will go the way of the Hawks. Quick tap taken. Hawks for the line. Not this time. Denied. 10 to the right-hand side of the post. Play back now to Wharton. Andy Wharton. Up the middle they go. No way through. The Raiders are there. The ball's popped back later. Speculator out the back corner. Laker. Laker foot towards the posts. The big man has pulled the ground only 3 metres from the line. The Hawks still with room to move and plays in the set. Brian at the tour, gets the ball jarred loose, good work undone. Jeff Kem comes up with it for the Raiders.
Yeah, good defensive scrambling by Hibiscus Coast, and hasn't Jeff Kem done well? Every chance he's got, he's taken really well. He's defended exceptionally well, and he really got them out of a bit of a hole there.
Oh, take a bow, Hibiscus Coast. Yeah, they did exceptionally well there to withstand the pressure. They're doing it tough. They're conceding the penalties. So many penalties being given away in that opening, in that 10-metre zone, but they're just toughing it out, rolling up the sleeves, getting in there, and defensively spot on.
Wild Armour plays the ball. Up it comes for Vinnie Dunn.
Spare of thought for the coach, though, Ross Stafford. He won't be feeling good.
Back it comes now onto Matty Young. Matt almost breaks through. Hawks coming at him from all directions. 28 minutes to play, 4 points in at 18-14 the scoreline. Troy Thompson says, let's play it down your end of the ground, and angles it towards the western touch. And eventually it finds its way over the chalk.
Yeah, I think Troy Thompson's trying to tell the referee that was touch, but in communication with the sideline, they've definitely got that one right. They're saying the ball was not touched, therefore it's a Mangere scrum feed.
And smart play there by Thompson. Yeah, they've just endured a hell of a lot of pressure down the other end. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's get up the other end, and let's put some pressure on this Hawks offense and see if we can just trap them down here, force the error, and maybe get another bite at the 4-pointer. But smart play, get out.
Andy Cook has refereed a number of the Barneycard Cup games through the year as the Hawks take receipt from the scrum base. Fine run. That's Makahili, scored a try in the first half. As Chan works it on. Good run from Tony Arlour as well. Thompson and Kim forced to come back at him. 11-3 the offloads. Quick play of the ball. Served up for Chan. Chan gets it on now to Walton. Walton looking to get it away. Does so. Luatua with the football. Kim the tackler with assistance from Conrad King.
Well, the enthusiasm hasn't wavered, has it? It's just their execution. Just needs a little pick up a little bit from Mangere, and I'm sure you'll find them in for a try shortly.
This is nice work from Makahili now.
Just held on to it maybe a second too long. He had the numbers on the Raiders. They go again looking for it.
Atatua. And Brian in the spin finds himself 10 metres out from the try line. The Hawks down one try. They'll be wanting to get that back, and they may well do it this time. Back on the inside, they come, and again it's Luatua. He can't get to the line. Turnover. The Raiders survive.
Well, I was looking for a good kick on the end of it, but they had their chance there, and they had to go, and you can't blame them. They've only end up a metre short, so there's nothing wrong with having to go on the last tackle when you end up a metre away from the try line.
You've got to be impressed with the Raiders D on that line, Shane. They've, time after time, they've had pressure put on them. They've certainly been able to stand the test. They've come up a little loose in the middle third, but on their line, unquestionable.
Back to the action, and the Raiders will play the ball on their 30-metre line. Matt Ash into dummy half. Greg Heslop to play the ball. The call comes up strong for the Raiders. We can forget the nail-biting finish last year where we went to extra time and it was the Raiders victorious over Richmond in Fox 2002. Can they repeat that? The ball is played back to Tui Filisei. Good running once again. This kid, Luatua, is emerging everywhere, prepared to work hard. There'll be people watching his performance this afternoon. Who knows where he may emerge next year. The Barneycard Cup or even beyond. Dummy half now is Mwala. The Hawks out through Wharton. Clever. Wharton gets there. Wharton is home. The scores are locked. 18-all, Raiders and the Hawks.
And no one deserves a try more than Mr. Wharton here. Lau Wharton, his dad, he'll be more than pleased. Don't know where he's watching it from, but he put a big effort into organising the 40th Jubilee this year at Mangere East.
And let's chuck out a special hello to the whole Wharton family. Played with his uncle, Polypad. And it just makes you feel so old when you see the youngsters coming through here. Nice little step. And that's been the most impressive part about this game this afternoon is the size of some of these athletes and the package that goes with it. They've got the full works when it comes to pace, when it comes to step. They've got it all. Talented footballers.
Andy Wharton, been working hard today. One of the senior players, one of the go-to men for this Hawks outfit.
Yeah, played in every match so far this season for the Mangere East Hawks. with 7 tries already. Number 8, he's had an excellent game.
Waipoti, no problems with the extras. Andy Wharton pushes them out, evens it up. And Waipoti adds the extras 20-18.
And albeit that the Raiders may be a little disappointed, they've had a lot of pressure. They've spent a lot of time, a metre or so off their line. And this time here, maybe it was inevitable. It was only a matter of time that they were going to succumb. But it was some relentless pressure there by an enthusiastic offensive by the Raiders. Sorry, by the Hawks to get up the other end.
So now Troy Thompson restart, this time deeper than they have been kicking. And the Mangere East Hawks springing the step. Junior Lesser with the ball. Heslop takes him across the top with assistance from Matt Young.
And the most exciting part about this is 20-odd minutes ago in this game, and still only 2 points separate the Hawks and the Raiders.
Tafi once again, strong run down the eastern flank. Atator works it on to Adama. They've had a nice combination, these two. Very experienced players. Adama to ground, 5 short of halfway. Looking for the first ever Fox Memorial Championship, the Mangere East Hawks.
And you sense Shane Cooper that the pendulum again is now starting to swing, and this time starting to favour the people from the south.
Adama, great yardage from the dummy half. Wharton again, menacing down the left flank. Can he get the ball away? He can't. He tries, though. And Falters will scrum it down. Raiders feed.
Yeah, once again, let's not get too excited here. Both sides are in with the chance, but like Pete was mentioning, it's the little darts out of dummy half are starting to work for Mangere now. They're getting a little bit not compressed, expanded the Hibiscus Coast defence, and just 1 or 2 little darts are getting them on the back foot.
And this is where you start to look to put your little men into that acting half. When you get a tiring D, you start to, you look at the likes of Arvenga and that, they've featured strongly in this match. Whether or not they're strong enough, fit enough to go the 80. The little men with good foot movement, they'll start to test your D.
Pito will play it back for Thompson. Thompson works it across the Raiders. Good yardage here. The Raiders with a strong run. After Tor forced to make a very important tackle on Vinnie Dunn. Up they get now. Here comes Heslop. Says, I'll have it go. Great tackle as well. Waipoti.
Yeah, little story on Heslop, number 70 for Hibiscus Coast. He's an Englishman. He's come over here and he's going to have trials with Manly, so they've got his eye on him.
Ash works it across to Conrad King. King keeps it alive. Out to Matt Young. Young finds 3 Hawks there and they close him down. 35 from the line.
Now, producer, better keep that in mind, Coops, because he's from the Widnes area, just down the road from your St. Helens. He'll be the only one that can interpret what he's got to tell us.
Once again, the very impressive Luatua. Slow to get up this time, fullback. Not dissimilar in builds and guile, you would see, and Tony Taula. 22 from the line. At the tour. Very truly gets the ball jarred loose. Pretty gross. Play on. We'd hope not. Jeff Kim thought that his Christmases had come, but not so. We'll pack it down. The Raiders will get this scrum feed. 20 out from the Hawks line.
Yeah, once again, it's not an area where you want to be pushing the pass, is it? You're only up by 2 points, Pete, and it's about ball security. Let's be honest, it is a final.
Well, the Kings' first game's not till next week here at Ericsson Stadium. Good on
Matt
you, Ken.
Ash now back up on the inside. He finds Pito. The tacklers are there. The work is done. Ash now on to Vinnie Dunn. Dunn. Sorted. Laker. Dummy half Inuka. Spins towards the line, comes up short. The centre. Plays it back now to Heslop. Heslop can't find a way through. He sat on his chuff as Inuka goes to dummy half. Now it comes back to Robbie Gilmore. He gets there. Robbie Gilmore beside the post for the Raiders. They take the lead again.
Well, what I liked about this try was the good pass out of dummy half from by Inuka. He really found his man. He gave him a little bit, just that extra half a second of time to put that step on. A lot of time we see Labour passes coming out of dummy half, but that was a great 15-metre pass and it gave this guy Gilmore a little bit of extra time just to decide what to do with it, and he stepped on the inside, and he's put Hibiscus once again in front.
And on the back of that nice delivery out of the acting half with some good width as well, and you had Gilmore here standing up and marking him, looking straight up, was a tiring front row forward, and the likes of Ray Tully. And as we've already mentioned, as this game gets on, it is going to take its toll on the big boys, and in that particular time put the right step in. Try time. We've got a ball game here, 20-22, 20 to go.
4-point split now. The Raiders take a 24-20 lead with 18 minutes left to play.
Those boots are like yours, Pete, that you used to play in many moons ago.
No, you didn't, did you, Pete?
Nice. They're hot, they're for dancing.
They've become quite popular, haven't they, the white boots? Here's another look. Quick delivery, and Gilmore had the foresight to identify there was going to be a hole open up, able to push through it quickly, and he docks down next to the post. As the Mangere East fans look on, somewhat disappointed and somewhat funky.
And as the game goes on, we talk about the impact of, whoa, it's boogie on. As the game goes on, it's about a tiring defense, and it's also about being honest on the inside. And on that particular occasion, you could also look to a couple of your back rowers just sort of knocking off a little early, not staying alive. The inside D is where a lot of, we saw it last night with the fronts, Stacey Jones and young Webby combination going on. It will test you if you don't stay honest for 80 minutes.
Mike Wilson plays the ball after that run, gets it back to Craig Heslop. Heslop turns it onto the right-hand side, finds Jeff Kim, tries to go underneath like a mole in a hole. This time, scragged to ground. Oh, he just doesn't want to be tackled. And that's fair enough. Did he take a late knock? Trying to milk a penalty in the end. And Pakito don't fall for it. Back up it comes. Onto the halfway line. We'll play it. Derek Ovema. Short side. Out it comes to Nathan. Cut out ball. Thompson to Enoka. Enoka around the outside. Throws the dummy. Enoka for the line. Does he get there? Yes! Enoka! Hibiscus Coast, 2 tries in 2 minutes. They have issued the challenge to the Mangere East Hawks.
Wow, what a try. Down the left-hand side. It was a great ball to start it off with Thompson here. He had a few numbers to pick from. And Enuka, I thought he was going to line up his winger and put him on the inside, but he elected to go himself. And he does great to get down low, good body position.
The money ball was this one from Thompson, and that's when you talk about there is no compensation for experience or speed. Enoka providing the speed on that occasion, and experience coming out of Thompson, and a nice b-boy backflip there as well by Enoka to finish it off. Fine try.
Well, he showed the confidence to throw the dummy. I thought the man running on the inside would have been picked up, so really it was a try delivered by Troy Thompson with that wonderful ball, but Enoka had the composure and backed himself to throw the dummy and go all the way. Ran it close to the touchline, Shane, just as he put it down, but in the end, he did enough to get the 4 points.
Yeah, it was all about his body position, wasn't it, Dale? And he nice and low. His legs were pretty close, and that's his 10th try for the season and 16 appearances. As we see a shocking conversion attempt there, 28-20. The gap's just expanding.
And it's a gap that the Hawks can ill afford to allow to expand. Yeah, 8 points is probably the biggest differential that was seen in this one. Again, the money ball to Enoka. A little bit of a feint of a dummy in there. Came up good, and maybe just give him a little too much on the outside. Momentum was always going to get him over to score the try. Good try there.
So the Raiders take the lead. Hard-working work by the Hawks. 25 tackles so far for the captain, Jason Artemer. A big effort from him. And the hardest working in the tackle department, Thompson, the captain for the Hibiscus Coast Raiders. Ash with centre field. Finds a runner. A bit of work to be done now for the Hawks. They need the football as Mike Hickey plays it back.
But one of the most important things right now with just over 14 minutes is not to allow the clock to take over the way they play this game. They've got 14 minutes with still enough time, but they've got to stay with the plan. They've got to find some shape and get up there and start to dominate and influence where it goes from here.
Yeah, I agree 100% there, Pete. You know, Mangere's going to get some opportunities, and it's what they do with them opportunities. It's important not to panic at this stage. They're going to get a lot of time with this ball.
And you know what's going to happen, and we're seeing Hibiscus Coast starting to unfold it now, which is about playing territory, putting the ball up the other end, trying to force the error, but the pressure's now all on the Hawks. They've got to be able to put that pressure aside and play out their game, put the clock aside, and don't overplay their game and just wait for those opportunities. Be patient, but above all, unlike what they had in the opening 15-20 minutes of the first half, was opportunities that came their way. This time they've got to nail them. Otherwise, the clock will become their worst enemy.
Troy Thompson with plenty of experience on his shoulders, and he decides that we'll play it down the other end of the field. What better way to give your forwards a bit of a breather, to take the pressure off them, as they can enjoy this 8-point lead as the Hawks know what's in front of them. We've just mentioned they don't need to panic. They've certainly got the strike power. We've seen that. It's just composure and ball control, I think, will determine the result of this game. We've seen that the Raiders can come back from behind. We believe that the Hawks can as well.
And this is when you go-to players, the experience of the man with the ball in hand right now, Aotearoa. He's the one that needs to come up with the money balls and the smarts that could very well deliver them their first Fox Memorial Championship.
And we're missing that man who's on the bench. Jason Adama is their top tackler and inspirational skipper. Look at this, a work up the middle. The tackle made on Ioane Lule. And the tackler is Waioda Adama. Weiler serves up the pill, shaping to throw it. Ash goes for the intercept. The Hawks have got some speed on. They've got runners as well. Ball behind, play on, says the referee. The ball has gone back. Ash eventually closes the danger, 35 from the line. Needs to get to his feet quickly. Waipoti struggling to play the ball. Eventually will draw the penalty. Nat Ash is unimpressed by Pakito's decision. Rather than kick for touch, they keep it alive. Up the middle they come. This time the try scorer, Andy Walton. He will play the ball centre field, 25 out from the line. Out of dummy half. Good yardage, good gain. Moala, now Wharton. Wharton with 5, turns it to 7, spins and takes it to within 4 metres of the try line. The Hawks peppering the line at the moment. 8 points down, 11 minutes to play here in Fox 2003. At the tour, Brian looking, can't unload. Taken out by Cam and over the top, Blair Parkin. At the tour, now the young men. This fella's been impressive. That's Tola out the back. Walton to the short side, throws the dummy, runs out of room, and eventually goes to ground on the 10-metre line. Still, they're not finished. The Hawks working, looking for opportunities. Cut out balls out wide. This time it's on to Tuafesalai. Does he get there? He has! Wonderful effort! Wonderful effort! And Taupope Tuifelasai scores the try that draws them close. Well, we said it was possible if they kept their heads. To their credit, they did.
Well, he's been impressive to Veselau since he's come on. Taupope Tuifelasai, have I got that right, boys?
Nowhere near it, but good try, Coop.
But he's been impressive, and look, from 10 metres out, he's had a few to beat. And he's done it in the corner exceptionally well. Stop laughing at me, Dale husband.
But Taupope, when it was 10 metres out, he knew, he sized it, he looked up, there was nothing on, and he then recognised that he had to do it, and he had to do it himself, and didn't he finish it?
Well, you can give us a hand with the pronunciation there, Pete. Go for it.
I can't recover from the Coops there, but leave me alone. I won't be back for another half hour from that one. Well done, Coops, you're a star. You're on fire.
We know who you mean anyway, Coops. That's fine, brother.
And you might get a call from a government agency tomorrow.
Well, one thing I do know, it's put them back in the match with 10 minutes remaining, 4 points down with this conversion to come. But like we said, I'm not too sure if they've actually got a kicking game, Mangere, because that was the last tackle, and they elected to run it. They were looking for someone to put a grubber in, but it come out to the big number 15 on the wing, and he done the rest.
Taupope, didn't he just do exactly that? He did the rest. And this is where he receives the ball. I thought that was a nice ball there coming across there from Tawhai. He looked up, there was defenders in front of him, there was nothing going. It was all a case of just absolute determination to get across the point and very possibly keep them in the game at 28-24 with just over 9 minutes to go.
Went off to extra time last year, if you will recall, and I think it might have even got a double. So the Raiders know what it's like to put that pressure on in the final stages. Not quite sure what the ruling will be this year, but we'll certainly keep you posted if, in fact, we have it locked at 80 minutes. That break, as sad as they get, I suppose, for Mangere East. It could be worse, I suppose. At least they...
No, they don't. In fact, it's scrum feed to Hibiscus Coast here, so that's a new rule. It's been in for a while now, and just a wicked bounce there for Wharton.
Hookers on the line.
8.5 minutes of play left in Fox Memorial Championship for this year.
And what an ideal position to be in for the Hibiscus Coast Raiders with only minutes. On the 15-metre mark, they go right, looking for something out there through the likes of Cam. A good D there by the Hawks.
Cam is put to ground. He loses the football. Referee says, well, I can't be there to hold it for you, Jeff. That's your responsibility. And that is a very fortuitous situation to occur for the Mangere East Hawks. You just mentioned how vulnerable they were with a set of 6 right in front of their post. And now at least they get the chance to feed it. They've got a bit of work to do to get up the other end of the park, though, Coop.
They have, but they're quite capable of getting up there over in the park. It's what they do and how they get up there, I suppose. And well, that's the correct decision for me. It's poor ball security. You know, we're all adults. We all have to hang on to the ball, show some ball security.
So now, the Mangere East Raiders, Mangere East Hawks, I should say, kick to the eastern touch. Penalties have leaned heavily in the Hawks' favour. Scoreline not so. 7 minutes to play.
But a lot of those penalties conceded by the Hibiscus Coast, you've got to say it's smart ones. Many of them being about slowing down the offensive charge of the Raiders as yet again they come to the Hibiscus Coast defensive line. Being prepared to forsake penalties to slow the game down.
Well, they're well capable, we know that, as the ball is popped up by Waipodi. Finds his way to Taula. He's shadowed and eventually claimed by Troy Thompson. We'll play at centre field now, 48 out from the line.
And Taula could be the money man that the Hawks will have to look to if they're going to get this point.
This is Junior Lesser. 7 minutes to play. They don't have to use hot potato tactics. Wharton is ranging wide and finds a hole. Gets the ball off. Beautiful hands in the end from Lole. Lole controls it and is eventually closed by Mike Wilson. 20 metres from the line, the Hawks.
And you're going to have to run it out here.
Across to Wharton. A floater over the top for Arnema. A bigger float. A wide ball. A surging run. The big man for the line. Yes! Double movement.
You're kidding.
Double movement. Tony Laker is charged with. You can see the disappointment on the Mangere supporters' faces.
Well, Pete said you're joking. Now, how can this guy actually stop his momentum? It'll be close.
Oops.
Takes a brave man, Pete, to admit his mistakes. And a good man. I've enjoyed very much the opportunity to call with Ropo and Shane Coote throughout the season. Ropo certainly this afternoon. And what should be a neat finish. 5.5 minutes. Make your own minds up here. Have a good look. He's coming towards the line. That's like and that was in real time, no slow-mo. Still,
yeah, I think the pictures don't lie there, Coops. I got it wrong.
Wait.
Damn.
Thompson. Good ball. Back up on the inside, but the call comes from the touch judge saying it's forward. Ross Stafford looks on. Here's Thompson. I don't think there could be any argument from the Raiders supporters on that ball back on the inside for Hickey.
I don't know. I think we just heard coming through the ref's mic there, Dave Paqueta saying, just like the NRL, it's forward.
Hold it there.
Scrum feed. Lule almost stolen from Matt Ash. Or by Matt Ash, I should say.
It's gone out to your channel. Stay down. Get in. Get in there.
Lule takes it from the scrum base. Across they go. Mangere East looking for a hole. Here might be one. Tola thrown into touch. Referee says you've been put into touch. The Hawks hoping that the tackle had been affected. Here we go. Tola. And I think it's Adam Nathan who gets hold of a bit of the clothing, flings him into touch. He's had a good game, Tola. Countdown now, 28-24, 4 minutes to play. The Mangere East Hawks need the football. Another try to the Raiders will seal the match. Fresh back from last night's wonderful win, the Mad Butcher looking on. And again, the sponsorship of the local club scene, much appreciated. Enoka. Lead the football. The Hawks. The Raiders. Understandably, not in a hurry to get to their feet to play the ball. Troy Thompson. Fifth and final tackle now called on the Raiders. One more set at least for the
And this
Hawks.
has got to be a kick that's got to go deep. It's got to force them down.
That looks sweet. Oh, that is amazing. That is the Fox final, you'd have to think. But maybe not. 3 minutes out. What a kick, though, Peter Ropati.
Well, what a wonderful effort when thinking that with only 3 minutes remaining on the clock, that what they would be looking for here was to put a kick deep, follow with it a good chase and just defend for the remaining 3 minutes. But no, they come up with the one-pointer. That's what set this game alight right from the outset. It's been one of willingness to chance your arm, to entertain and play football for 80 minutes. These two sides have certainly provided a spectacle for all that are fronted up.
29-24, where's this bounce? Well, it could so easily have been. Can it happen? Can the dream become reality for the Mangere East Hawks? They've been denied so many times, having made their way and fought so hard through entire seasons to make the final, and have yet to come away with the Fox Memorial Championship.
And that's what you've got now with 2 minutes on the clock. This is your season. This is everything. This is what these guys have been playing for. They've been training Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturday afternoons for 20-odd weeks. A trophy that we call the Fox Memorial Final. The Raiders, they've got it within their fingertips and they want to hold it.
The one thing that Mangarees don't need is ill discipline here. A penalty would virtually sink their season. Craig Hislop decides that he will kick downtown. Will it sit up in the end goal? It will. Could it be any better as a kick? Hislop comes to get him. Will he get to the infield? He does. He claws his way out into the field of play.
And that could very well be the defining moment that will see the Fox Memorial go home with the Hibiscus Coast Raiders.
No! Will it? Wide they go. The Hawks on the far side of the field. The Hawks. A quick play the ball is absolutely imperative. They deliver. The big men come. The Hawks are there. The numbers. The Raiders are there as well. 1 minute out from full time. And it's a penalty. Pakito picks off the Raiders for being in front of the 10.
And keep an eye on the clock with 1 minute to go. That could be the enemy.
It's always the enemy. The Raiders look on. Have a look at the concern being shown by the camp. Here come the Hawks. Last throw of the dice. Wharton with the football. Wharton gets it out the back door. Lolly keeps it alive. The big man comes charging to Ifelisai. Jason Adama looks on. The Hawks. Can they do it? They can! Yes! They do! It's done! It is in front of the post. And a kick to come will be the ball game for the Hawks. They are going berserk in the stands, and so they should. What a game of footy. What a finish to the Fox 2003.
And could you ask for more? And it's certainly quite obvious when you look around you. Everybody was rooting for the boys from the south. The Mangere East Hawks, who have stayed in this game for 80-odd minutes. With the clock taken away, with only minutes remaining, seconds. And someone who's featured strong throughout. Their number 10, Manu Tawhai, coming over with what will see Mangere East pick up the trophy for the first time. 4 appearances in the Fox Memorial. At last, it could be theirs.
We'll leave you with the pictures. They tell the story.
So hard-earned scenes of jubilation for the Mangere East Hawks, confirming that final score right to the wire. 30 points to 29. Shane Cooper is sidelined with a very happy Hawks captain.
Mr. Narama, you're just saying you're missing all the excitement, but that was pretty exciting.
Oh, mate, it was, down to the wire once again. Against Hibiscus, mate, 2 weeks ago, same thing. Down to the wire. Awesome, mate.
And how does it feel to be the captain of the first Fox Memorial winning side?
Oh, awesome, mate, awesome, mate. Bunch of guys, mate, I was just out there, mate. All the rest of them, mate. Oh, I don't know what to really say, mate. So happy, eh?
Well, it was great excitement right from the first whistle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, mate. All the way, eh, mate. You know, give full credits to Hibiscus. Put it in there, mate, but yeah, the Hawks, mate, yeah, the Hawks.
And I thought your defence was really outstanding today. You had plenty of numbers in the tackles.
Yeah, well, that's what Coach Roy wanted. Go in there with numbers, slow the fast guys down. Was working in the first 20, last 20, made it all, mate, our boys have had it. Just ran on courage, I think.
Well, congratulations, Jason, well done.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot, eh? I'd just like to thank all the supporters and our sponsors too. Cheers, mate.
And those supporters will be extremely happy this afternoon, because it was one special afternoon of football. For a moment there, it looked like the Hibiscus Coast Raiders were going to run away with it, but they certainly did not do that. And Peter and Shane, I can imagine that this was one of those finals to set up a great afternoon.
Going to happen, you know, with only seconds on the clock, and we're about to sum it up and close it down as being a Hibiscus Coast result, but not to be undone, and certainly in the form of what we've seen out of these two football sides throughout season 2003, a game that was always going to go to the wire. Neither side was prepared to give in and throw it up. This was a wonderful game of football, great entertainment, and certainly in the atmosphere and the scene, I think, of what we've come to see over the last 24 hours. Rugby league is feeling good.
One would have thought that Ruben Anoka tries saw them away, but the two late tries to the Mangere East Hawks, and particularly the one by Leicester in the 80th minute, was something to behold. And it's almost mirrors last season, when these finals, particularly both the Fox and Bartercard, go all the way. And why wouldn't you be happy? All right, time to go back down, and Shane's got the man of the match.
Yeah, we've got another excited player down here, Paul Luatua. Your first season of rugby league, how does it feel?
It feels good, eh? Feel to come in the league, play for Mangere East. That's pretty good with the boys here. Yeah, they give me feel comfortable, and then, yeah, it's good.
And what were you doing prior to playing rugby league?
I was playing rugby for Te Papa Nehanga. Yeah, but it's too far down there for me to go down, so I just walk along the road and train with the boys. Yeah.
And what do you think of our great game of rugby league? What a picture, Fox Memorial final winner in your first season.
Feeling good, eh? It's great to come to play league for the first year and then win the Fox. I guess this is what we'll be waiting for from all this year. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot for joining us, Paul.
Thank you very much.
There you go, the man of the match for the Fox Memorial champions of 2003, the mighty Hawks, the mighty Mangere East Hawks. And that finds there is their number one supporter, the Mad Butcher Mangere East Hawks. He's flown back from the Warriors match last night, and boy, he's had a double dose of delight, hasn't he, this afternoon, simply with the Warriors giving it to the Dogs last night, and the Mangere East Hawks coming home in the dying minutes. I mean, this is what the great game of rugby league, in fact, any sport is all about, particularly when you see so much jubilation. For the second time I've said that, and the fans enjoying this. Pete mentioned about the families. Well, why wouldn't you enjoy a game of football like that? They're just about set for the presentation of the Fox Memorial Trophy, so let's go sideline.
Support your teams, and it's been a great atmosphere for our game here today. I lay down a challenge to the Mangere East Hawks when they won the Rukatai Shield several weeks ago. The last 3 years, the winner of the Rukatai has not won the Fox. As we all know, this is the 40th year celebrations for Mangere this year, so what a great way to cap off a fantastic year for the club. I'd like to congratulate Hibiscus on a magnificent effort as well. It always takes two teams to participate in a final. You can hold your heads up high, boys. You've participated in a fantastic game of rugby league here today, and all congratulations must go to you as well. I get the other people I'd just like to finish up by thanking as well as the officials here today, the referees and touch judges who have done a fantastic job of controlling this game here today. and also to the Auckland Rugby League staff for the hard work that they put in to make this day possible. I'd now like to call up the match officials, the referees, to come forward and receive their medallions.
So at this point in time, the Mangere East Hawks, who are the champions of 2003 in the Fox Memorial Grand Final, and Dave Paquito did a pretty good job, particularly on that letting the try go in the head high on Ash early, didn't he?
Well, the one thing that David Paquito does offer the game of rugby league as an official, as a referee, is that he feels the game. It's certainly not about interpreting the rules from the rule book from rule number 1 to 150. He feels the game, and I think that's exactly what we got out of him this afternoon. They did a wonderful job.
It's been a great afternoon of football, and we've still got one to come, the Bartercard Cup Grand Final between the Marist Richmond side and also the Canterbury Bulls. So there's so much more to come here at Ericsson this afternoon, including the 5 o'clock game between Penrith and Brisbane, the 4th qualifying final in the NRL. Boy, wasn't he good, eh?
Yeah, it was a wonderful effort by this football side, and I think you've got to recognise the effort by both football sides, and unfortunately, sport being what it is, one side will always win, but a result that was not determined until like seconds remaining on the clock. This was stunning footy.
You played a couple of Foxes. Did this sort of bring back memories of what the Foxes should be played like?
Well, I think that the Fox, as we see it right now, is certainly very different in terms of a landscape. You may not have the corporate involvement or the sponsorship that maybe it was there 15 odd years ago, but to these footballers, what the Fox Memorial represents as a trophy, and I think as a competition, this was huge, and good luck to them all.
This was the gut wrencher. You got to feel for Hibiscus Coast. They had this game in the bag, and we said at half-time, we suggested at half-time, that this Mangere East side were not going to lie down. You said they were going to play the arm race, and they played it right to the last minute.
Well, the thing that annoys you about sport is, unfortunately, at the end of it, so much effort has gone to it, and if you're a loser, you're a loser, yeah. But the sad part about it, for all these guys, they're going to go home, they're going to be absolutely gutted, and sure, you can get some compensation out of the fact that you've put a lot of effort into it. And the one point that I will make is that being a loser is not about a result.
Ross Stafford, of course, the coach of the Hibiscus Coast Raiders, he said to me on the phone yesterday that he was looking forward to having some silverware back in the cupboard because they had to give it back this week, and it just felt a little bit empty. And he was reasonably confident about the result this afternoon, and you would have thought in the 79th/80th minute he was going to be confident, but it just didn't turn out that way. And the Mangere East Hawks, the Mad Butcher Mangere East Hawks, have come home by the single point, 30 points to 29.
Without them, we wouldn't have had a game of football. Give it up for the Raiders. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite to the microphone a man who's just shot across the ditch. He spent far too much time in the West Island, but why wouldn't you, watching the Warriors the way they decimated the Bulldogs last night? He hopped on the big silver bird. He's back over here. Peter Leach, a.k.a. the Mad Butcher. It's all for you, Pete.
Yeah. It's not all.
The winners of the Mad Butcher Fox Memorial, the Mighty Hawks. Woohoo!
Jason Adama, the captain of the Mangere East Hawks, and his troop of winners. Yeah, you get that number one finger up, but why not, Pete?
Yeah, and what a wonderful way to cap off their 40th Jubilee year. It's been a wonderful, wonderful year for the Mangere East Hawks, and in particular for the Mad Butcher. They've put together a wonderful celebration to commemorate the 40th year of this football club, and yeah, it's such a nice, touching moment right now. They finally get to bring home the shield.
Yeah, you were part of that 40th Jubilee celebration, Pete, and someone suggested to me that maybe you should put the shorts on again. They were quite impressed with your showing in the celebrity match on that Sunday afternoon. Yeah, okay, we're not going to go there, are we? All that we can say is Brent Webb still does wear better shirts than you and a lot tighter.
But there have been some wonderful standout performers for this Hawks outfit, and the boy holding the shield there, certainly one of them. You know, for such young men, they played this game with such excitement and certainly with a flair and willingness to play footy. Polish it up and feel good about it. He'll sleep with this trophy tonight.
So much history in that piece of wood, Pete, that shield. So much history of rugby league in this country.
Well, I think when I'm looking at this picture right now, what I'm seeing are the likes of the Olsen Filipinas, the Parrots, the Mann brothers, you know, Warren and Georgie Mann, who have all been a big part of the history of this footy club. And that's what the Fox Memorial Shield represents to so many footballers. And those gone by, you see in this game this afternoon, the number of players that are coming through that are representing their fathers who have played before them, the Whartons, the Bearsleys, the Waipuris.
It will be interesting too, because later on this evening here on Sky Sport 2, we are going to announce the New Zealand A side. Selwyn Pearson, the chairman of the New Zealand Rugby League, is going to come in and announce the side. And I know a lot of focus will be on the Bartercard Cup Grand Final, but there may be one or two this afternoon, this Fox final, that said, well, just maybe down the track.
Well, it may be an opportunity to certainly take someone away and give them the experience of touring. So it could very well present a good opportunity. But for all these guys here, they recognise playing this Fox Memorial, being in the centre stage right now, could very well see something unfold from next year. Next year, it could mean an opportunity in Bartercard. Who knows? It could see them going through the academy with the New Zealand Warriors. So many opportunities could come out of it. Finals, games like this are where champions are made and where history, or certainly careers, could very well find themselves being launched.
It is a weekend of finals football, and we have certainly not been let down in this first one from Ericsson Stadium this afternoon. And as all strong teams do with family bonds, they go to the families and the supporters that go with them. These boys, you know, amateurs at the best, training weeknights, weekends, whatever, to do the job. And this afternoon it was the time for Mangere East to do the job, and why not? Because it has certainly been an entertaining afternoon, and we're only literally a third of the way through. Still to come, the Bartercard Cup Grand Final, and that one promises to be a goodie. Some late news on an inclusion in the Marist Richmond side, and we'll let you know about that one a little later on, not too far away, and that will be a goodie against Canterbury. Canterbury are very confident going into this one this afternoon.
And there's some of the old boys there. Gould, their former manager of the Mangere Hawks in the late 80s, recognising the efforts of Roy Chan, and he's been a stalwart of this club for a number of years as well. He's been with some of these boys back since 1988, so it's been a long reunion in the junior grades, and obviously celebrating it now with a culmination in picking up the biggest trophy in club rugby league in Auckland, the Fox Memorial.
And understand too that the coach Roy Chan was extremely nervous before this match, and you would have thought his heart must have sunk when the Hibiscus Coast scored late in the second half. And then his heart was up again, because they came home in that 80th minute. It has been a wonderful afternoon already of football. Yeah, take it around and enjoy it.
Well, I love the way that he described his footy side in the pre-match show, and one of, hey, we're a good defensive team. Yeah, and we're a good attacking team. So he certainly recognised that the quality in this team was about youth, enthusiasm, and above all, they've got talent.
But what he did recognise too, and not being willing to separate any individual, he was quite strong in the fact that this was my team, this is our team, we are a team, and no one will stand above the rest.
Well, and we saw that at the end of 80-odd minutes, you know, to get a result like that, you know, to get a result that's determined in the last second of a game of rugby league requires a collective effort, and it requires 15, 17, plus the coaching staff to get them over. And also people like that. You know, family is such an important part of so many of these guys' football lives, and the footballers. Oh, look at them.
Yeah, the bald boys will enjoy this one from Mangere East, and the little touches, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there is another log of wood that is talked about in this country called the Ranfurly Shield, and you see kids in the same vein touch that piece of wood, but to see something that is based primarily in the Auckland region, and little kids go up and touch it again, there may be just a little bit of magic for them in their footballing years to come.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of magic at Massey Park this evening and tomorrow.
I was waiting for that.
And all that magic is going to be on the back of that. You know, both these sides, the Hibiscus Coast and the Mangere Hawks, so they'll go and celebrate, and they'll celebrate the fact that they've been part of, again, another final series. Unfortunately for the Raiders, they don't bring it home this year, but they certainly played a big part in making this one of the most memorable games of footy that I've seen in 2003. Wonderful, wonderful effort.
So that's how it wraps up for the first third of the Super Sunday of Rugby League. The first two here at Ericsson Stadium. Coming up, though, it's the Bartercard Cup Grand Final, and this one should be and will be just as exciting as the one you have just witnessed. The Mangere East Hawks are champions for 2003 in the Fox Memorial Final. Who will be the Bartercard Cup champions? Marist Richmond or Canterbury? Stay with us. We're back here at Ericsson in 2 ticks.